Good afternoon. This is Driving with Myles. I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. I've been doing driver's ed about 21 years. So today we're going to talk about behind the wheel and how to help your team become a safe driver. It is a process. So I'm going to go through some longitudinal studies. Then I'm going to talk about some things parents, older siblings, family members can do to help that teen become a safe driver. At the end, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. So in the driving process, there were several studies that were looked at. And in these studies, they talked about in 1983, 42% of 16-year-olds had their license. As compared in 2014, only 24% of 16-year-olds had their license. So that's a decrease of 47%. What has changed? I think teens have jobs, they have opportunities. There's no rush for them to come and go ahead and get their license, where those teens in the study, getting a license is the most important thing in a teenager's life. And I believe it still is. Another study, in 1983, 87.3% of 19-year-olds had their license. In 2014, only 69% of 19-year-olds. That's another decrease of 21%. So as I said before, jobs, other commitments, sports, teens just are not getting their license as soon as they turn, the legal age. So let's look at what some things parents can do. It's all about practice. And it's all about giving your son or daughter those proper fundamentals so they can be successful. You want to teach your teen how to drive without going crazy. And I mean that in a kind, loving way. It is a very stressful situation, having your son or daughter learn how to drive, gas, 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 brake, brake, brake. But as time goes on, you can be a great source. And I'm a parent too, so I went through it twice. You really have to be patient with your son or daughter. You got to teach them the rules of the road. This is no alcohol, no drugs, no marijuana. Being at a certain time, you got to lay a proper foundation. If you lay that proper foundation, your son or daughter will be very successful, because we want success out there on the roads. We don't want to see teens die. We don't want to see teens crash. So you want to be good role models, no drinking, eating in the car, no cell phone usage. If you're tired or upset, don't drive. Those things are still really important. So let's get into a little bit more detail about this information. Some teens are not developmentally ready to drive. They have to grow up and be more responsible. I see this from time to time when I conduct my segment 1 and segment 2 classes. Everyone grows up and matures at a different point in time, in a different process. So you got to be patient with that process. So in 2013, young people ages 15 to 19 represented 7% of the population. They basically accounted for about $10 billion. According to the Assurance Institute, drivers between the age of 16 and 19 are 3 times more likely than drivers 20 years old to be in a crash. So what does this mean? The more time behind the wheel, the better you'll be as a driver. It takes up to 10 years for a driver to truly learn how to handle the vehicle, fix a flat tire, fog, rain, snow, black ice. There are multiple situations. And in my industry, doing that driver's education, we require 6 hours. Every state, every province is different. 4 hours of observation, 30 hours with the parents, which is really 2.5 hours per week over 3 months. So it's super important. Motor skills and judgment need to be developed. They need to be taught through the parents. I lay the foundation. I teach them the fundamentals, but it's up to the parents to continue to drive and prepare them. What can parents do? Spend extra time behind the wheel. After a teen acquires their learner's permit, they have to take a vision test. And they may have to take a written exam, those basic skills. So those skill sets are important. Take them in a wide variety of traffic, rush hour in a downtown area, driving in a rural area, driving in downtown areas. Typically what I do when I first get my students out, we work in the parking lot. We work on parking maneuvers, hand over hand turns, good speed control. Then we go into a subdivision and we work on hand over hand turns to the right, hand over hand turns to the left. I do have some really good content on driving in neighborhoods and steering and maneuvers. So if you haven't, you need to look at some of that content. But those hand over hand turns and good speed control will teach students good defensive driving skills. In neighborhoods and subdivisions, you have kids, you have parents backing out, you have people cutting grass. So I teach my students to reverse in to a driveway. I have them pull out. We do 3-point turnarounds. We do parallel parking. We do 2-point, 3-point turns. So they learn those fundamentals and they learn to be that defensive driver, keeping space to the left, keeping space in the middle, keeping space to the right. Those things are, thank you for the thumbs up. Those things are extremely important to develop a sense of balance. Because when you first get into the car, you're not coordinated. You're drifting to the right, you're drifting to the left. You're not sure how much space you need. So I try to give my students a good foundation. I show them love and support. And then we gradually work on those turns, right turns, left turns, lane changing, 3-point turnarounds, parallel parking. So it's a really good idea once they're done with a certified instructor, start off in the neighborhood. Parking lots are a really good spot. I have a lot of questions and comments. Where can I practice? Parking lots. And because of COVID, I've seen a lot of parents, and I'm not recommending it because I'm a certified instructor, but I've seen a lot of parents have their son and daughters in parking lots, going down the aisle, making right turns, making left turns, reversing in. Those are basic maneuvers that all of us can work on. A 60-year-old who's going through a refresher course, a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, those fundamentals are super important. And I really like to develop those slow speed maneuvers because that's what you're going to be tested on. I had some questions about maneuverability tests, parking downhill, parking uphill. All those fundamentals are important. I always talk to my parents. At the end of the drive, I ask at the beginning of the drive, hey, how are they doing? How's their emotional stability? I want to give feedback. And I think parents really appreciate that because if I was on the other side, I would appreciate that instructor giving me feedback, giving me input, because that's what it's about, developing a good relationship. It's just deeper than just driving a student. Bumper to bumper traffic will teach you patience. It will give you wisdom, which a lot of young people don't have. Downtown traffic is outstanding for parallel parking, stall parking, angle parking. Typically, when I take my students on that drive and I tell parents this, we go into a downtown area, we go around making right-hand turns. We make 16 right-hand turns. We make 16 left-hand turns. Then once the steering is good and it's good solid hand-over-hand techniques, we get out of that downtown area and there's some back roads we go on. They're really chilled, really relaxed. You've got to mix up that energy of heavy traffic in downtown areas because that heavy traffic can be very stressful. It can be very overwhelming. And when you're with your son or daughter, you don't have a student driver sticker or big triangle on your car. When that light turns green, your son or daughter is expected to get up to speed immediately. If there's a merge into the left or right, they're expected to get over immediately. A lot of people are not patient today, and that's really a sad situation for our beginning drivers, but I try to teach my students patience, make good choices, have good habits. A lot of states that went to, and private states that went to that graduated license program, that GDL. And in that GDL, they're going to have to spend time driving with mom and dad, someone over 21. And that's when you really get a sense of controlling your vehicle and feeling confident. And I really like that because that GDL is going to give you some good experience. It's going to help prepare you. And you want young people to be prepared for every situation they're going to get into because when you make good decisions, there's going to be good outcomes, right? A number of states have added a middle step. And this is where they have to pass a road test. They have to understand the things on the dashboard, and it reduces teen fatality. Okay, because I've done this over 21 years. I've seen a number of longitudinal studies about the reduction in accidents. And that's what you want as a dad, as a parent, as a person who cares about their community. You don't want to see teens die. And if I have a choice, I would want to say more practice time behind the wheel with mom and dad to make sure they feel secure and to make sure they feel comfortable. So in segment two, we talk about, hey, how was your driving experience? Do you know how to change a tire? What is the furthest you've been away from home? And for me as a teacher, and I've taught those segment one students, it's like a homecoming. I can talk to my students. I can see them mature. They have jobs. They're now juniors and seniors. And that's really fulfilling to me. So I look forward because 3 months goes fast. As an adult, 3 months goes like 1 month. As a teen, you say, oh my God, I got to wait 3 months and I got to take my road test. So those things are super important. And a lot of the laws reduce the number of passengers in the car because they are distractions. And you don't need a state to have graduated license requirements. You, as a parent, if you feel your son or daughter's not ready, then you have a right to wait and get them practice, right? Spend an afternoon teaching your son or daughter routine maintenance, uh, showing them how to change a tire, how to put gas in, how to put oil in, how to check the car if you're going on a long trip, because those things are important. Show them how to change their tire, how to roll in an automobile club so they can look at those things. Make sure your son or daughter meets all those safety standards. Make sure your car is safe. Okay, adolescents should be driving mid-sized cars because they are safer. So let's review. I talked about some of the elements of behind the wheel and how to help your teen. I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. I need you to subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate you and love you, and I look forward to talking to all of you very soon. Thank you.